They never told you the truth about power. Not in school, not at home, not in the noise of the world. Because if they did, you'd become unstoppable. They told you to chase money, to memorize facts, to wait for the weekend. But here's what they didn't tell you. The greatest asset you'll ever own is not in your bank. It's in your brain. Not your job, not your degree, not your followers. Your mind is the empire. Everything else is just scenery. Carnegie knew it. Ford knew it. Disney, Edison, Napoleon Hill, they all knew. You build the world inside before you touch the world outside. The man who trains his mind owns his fate. The man who doesn't rents his life from those who do. And the reason most people stay stuck, it's not the economy. It's not their background. It's that they're walking around with $1 million machine and treating it like a rusted bicycle. Your mind was designed to create kingdoms, to engineer realities, to transform thin air into fortune, vision into victory. But what do most people do with it? They feed it fear. They fuel it with doubt. They hand it over to every headline, every opinion, every limitation ever whispered to them. They let other people decorate their mental walls with graffiti that says, "You're not enough. Be realistic. Settle down. Play small. No more. Not for you." Because here's the truth. Your thoughts are architects. Every belief you hold is laying bricks. Every emotion you feed becomes the soil you walk on. So if you want a new life, build a new mind. You don't get to control the storm outside, but inside, you're the commander of a fleet. And that's where it begins. Mindset, not as a buzzword, not as a quote on your phone screen, but as a way of life. See, mindset is not just about thinking positive. It's about thinking like a leader when you're surrounded by chaos. It's about believing in your mission when the scoreboard says you're losing. It's about choosing your response when life swings at you with all its weight. Lincoln had it. In the face of war, death, betrayal, he held his center. His mind didn't shatter. It sharpened. Because when you master your mindset, you don't just survive storms, you grow in them. But that mastery doesn't come from hoping. It comes from belief. And belief is not a feeling. Belief is a command, a declaration, an agreement with your own future that says, "I will become who I was born to be, no matter what." Most people think belief comes after success. They've got it backwards. Belief is the seed, not the fruit. Edison didn't wait until the light bulb worked to believe. He believed through 10,000 failures. Ford believed when the world told him the automobile was a joke. Disney believed when banks slammed every door in his face. They all used the same blueprint. Decide who you are, then act like it until the world catches up. This is where most people lose. They want proof before commitment, results before effort, certainty before risk. But champions don't wait for conditions. They create conditions. They don't say, "If I succeed, I'll believe." They say, "Because I believe, I will succeed." That's the fire you need, not the fire that burns quick and dies fast. The kind of fire that builds empires. The kind of fire that turns thought into legacy. And to get there, you need clarity. Clarity isn't a wish list. It's a weapon. Most people wander through life like foggy glass, blurry, unsure, reactive. But clarity slices through confusion like lightning across a black sky. You want power? You want wealth? You want peace, purpose, dominance in your field? Then get clear. Clear on who you are. Clear on what you will no longer tolerate. Clear on the outcome you will manifest, even if the odds scream otherwise. Because the moment you get clear, the universe gets out of your way. Opportunities bend. People take notice. Time starts to respect you. Why? Because clarity produces focus, and focus is what turns scattered sparks into a raging fire. Focus is what separates legends from the lost. Focus is how Elon Musk launched rockets while others scrolled through opinions. It's how Kobe turned a basketball into a crown. The world is noisy, but clarity builds silence inside you. And in that silence, direction is born, conviction is born, a mission is born. When your mind is clear, every setback becomes a strategy. Every delay becomes data. Every no becomes a redirection, not a rejection. And once you've got clarity, you step into the arena of vision. This is where the average get uncomfortable. Because vision isn't a fantasy, it's a responsibility. It's the act of seeing what isn't yet visible and refusing to blink until it becomes real. Walt Disney walked into a swamp in Florida and saw a kingdom. You see empty land. He saw fireworks, families, dreams. That's vision. It lives in the future, but breathes in the now. And the mind that uses it isn't waiting. It's building. But vision without discipline is just daydreaming. And this is where most fail. They dream like giants, but act like spectators. They get inspired on Monday and quit by Thursday. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not supposed to be. It's waking up when it hurts. It's showing up when it's boring. It's doing what needs to be done, even when nobody is clapping. Carnegie didn't build steel on vibes. He built it on consistency, daily, relentlessly, without applause, without shortcuts. Discipline is the bricklayer of destiny. Every rep, every journal page, every rejection you respond to with more effort adds to the architecture of your legacy. And here's the kicker. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's about freedom. The man who masters discipline is free from regret, free from doubt, free from dependence. He doesn't need to be pushed. He's self-directed. He's dangerous. And that kind of man doesn't just think, he acts. He knows that action isn't something you wait to feel ready for. Action is what makes you ready. You don't build confidence and then act. You act, and confidence is built through the doing. Start small. Start scared. Start tired. But start. Because the dream doesn't respond to your mood. It responds to your motion. When Edison was experimenting in his lab, he didn't wait for motivation. He moved. He failed forward. 10,000 tries, 10,000 sparks, until one caught. That's not luck. That's action in the face of adversity. That's faith with legs. And while others wait for perfect timing, perfect weather, perfect knowledge, he creates momentum. And momentum changes everything. It breaks resistance. It drowns doubt. It gives birth to results. And results feed belief. The wheel turns. The fire spreads. But here's the secret they don't teach in schools. Gratitude is the fuel, not the passive kind, not the thanks for my coffee kind, the kind that burns in your bones, that says, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm awake, I'm aware, and I'm armed with the most powerful asset in history, my mind. Gratitude shifts your frequency. It turns scarcity into vision. It turns pain into power. And it makes you resilient. Because a grateful mind doesn't break. It bends. A grateful mind doesn't panic. It plans. It doesn't collapse. It creates. So when the world hits you, and it will, your response is not to fold. Your response is not to whine. Your response is, good, now watch me build from this. Pain will come. That's not a threat, it's a fact. But here's what separates the builders of empires from the passengers of fate. They don't fear pain. They use it. They alchemize it. They turn wounds into wisdom, failures into formulas, scars into strategies. Do you think Abraham Lincoln didn't feel pain? He lost the woman he loved, failed in business, lost multiple elections, suffered deep depression, and still became one of the greatest leaders history has ever known. Because while life was trying to break him, he was forging a mind that could not be broken. That's what resilience is. It's not just endurance, it's adaptation. It's standing in the fire, adjusting your armor, and saying, I didn't come this far to fold, I came to rise. Your mind has that power, the ability to take chaos and craft clarity, the ability to fall hard, and still choose to rise. Wiser, stronger, colder, cleaner. But most people don't train that muscle. They avoid the pain. They bury it. They drown it in noise, distraction, comfort. You want wealth? You want purpose? You want peace? Then stop running from the resistance, because buried inside that resistance is the raw material of greatness. And the most powerful minds know this. Every struggle is an instruction. Every delay is data. Every heartbreak is an invitation to evolve. You don't grow when it's easy. You grow when it's hell, and you show up anyway. But to grow, you must be willing to learn. That means unlearning what no longer serves you. That means killing the small story you were raised with. That means looking in the mirror and saying, "The old me got me here, but the next level demands more." Carnegie didn't become the richest man in the world because he knew everything. He became rich because he learned relentlessly. From others, from mentors, from mistakes. He fed his mind the way most people feed their ego. So feed yours with fire. Read obsessively. Write your thoughts. Question everything. Guard your input like a vault, because your thoughts become beliefs, and your beliefs become destiny. Stop watching people live your dream. Study. Think. Rebuild your internal code like your future depends on it, because it does. And as you learn, you evolve. And as you evolve, the world begins to change around you. Not because the world got easier, but because your mind got stronger. Adaptability becomes your weapon. When markets crash, you don't panic, you pivot. When plans fall apart, you don't complain, you recalibrate. When people leave, betray, disappoint, you extract the lesson and move forward lighter. The weak try to control everything around them. The strong control themselves and master the rest through mental leverage. This is not positive thinking. This is wartime leadership. You are not here to merely survive this life. You're here to bend it, to shape it, to squeeze out every ounce of potential your soul contains. But none of that happens without daily alignment. You must train your mind the way a warrior sharpens his blade. Not once, every day. Wake up with purpose. Flood your brain with clarity before the world pours in noise. Write your mission. Speak your goals. Visualize the result. Then go to war for it, with actions so clear, so intentional, so powerful that doubt can't survive. You want to attract success. Become magnetic, not by faking confidence, but by building inner gravity so strong that failure loses its grip. Napoleon Hill said it best. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But he never said it would be easy. He said it would be possible if you would do the work. And that work starts not in the world, but in the lab of your own thoughts. Because the world does not give crowns to the hesitant. It gives them to those who dare to believe, to those who sharpen their thoughts like swords, to those who rise again and again, mind strong, heart relentless, soul unshaken. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You need one truth, carved deep into your being. Your mind is your $1 million asset. Use it. And when you do, nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what you are about to become.